What is the next step, given that both sides seem so stuck right now? I'll tell you what, the president may be getting closer to declaring a national emergency because of that, reiterating overnight if he cannot come to a deal with Congress, he will do just that. So what happens if he does go around lawmakers and use his emergency powers? NBC News has learned one option prepared for the president would allow him to redirect some money from the Army Corps of Engineers to build 315 miles of border wall. Money intended to help, for example, people recovering from Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. Now, this move may be the president's only way out, right? To get his wall and to reopen the government without looking like he's buckling under Democrats' pressure. What's the political challenge here? Senator Lindsey Graham is one of the very few Republicans encouraging the president to use his emergency powers. But if he does, he will almost certainly face legal challenges. Hoda.
And Hallie, for those of us just tuning in, right, to the government shutdown, this is all a fight about money to pay for that border wall. Of course, everyone can remember during the campaign, the president always said it wasn't going to be taxpayers. It was Mexico that would pay for the border wall. But it sounds like he's kind of backtracking on that now.
Well, he's on defense about that claim because you're right, Savannah. He said it again, and again during the campaign that Mexico would pay. Here's what he told reporters at the White House just yesterday.
Obviously, they're not going to write a check, but they are paying for the wall indirectly many, many times over by the really great trade deal we just made.
This is clearly on the president's mind because he's up and tweeting about exactly that again this morning. But you know that trade deal he's talking about has not even been approved by Congress. And while the president said he never meant Mexico would write a check, here's what he said in 2016.
They're not going to write us a check, but
They'll pay in one form or another. They may even write us a check by the time they see what happened.
And remember, his campaign also put out a position paper that specifically said Mexico would make a one-time payment of $5 to $10 billion, or else immigrants trying to send money home would face a penalty. Savannah, Hoda.
All right, Hallie, we'll see how this thing wraps up.